fun. Hi, everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Hudson Passey from Carolina Girl Genealogy. And my wonderful panel, we've got Shelley Murphy, our family tree girl. Hi, Shelley.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to be here tonight.
I'm glad you're here too. We have got Dan Earl, our family history guy. Hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, the causer of all trouble. And then we've got Bernice Bennett.
And the man.
From Jenny B. Roots. Hello, how are you?
Hello, everybody.
We're so thrilled you've been able to come back and join us. We have missed you so much, but you know, you gotta come back and talk about relative race, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. And what a great day too it was. We should probably start off talking about the teams as they're, you know, getting ready to leave their day one, relatives that they've met. You know, they always do something really kind of cool. And I thought it was neat that Sean's aunt made him that little book.
Wasn't that nice?
I love that.
But it clarified our question from last week, because remember, we weren't clear. She's yep. Their mom was the same. So, you know, we didn't know if it was two different dads. Remember that with Sean?
Right.
The way she said my mom instead of our mom, we were confused.
She's a half sister.
But she because they have the same mom. So they do have the same mom. Yes, they have the same mom. So that clarified that just by looking at the the chart. And he said that's the first family album I've ever had. Like, oh, that is so really sad. And it sounds like
and I thought about that.
An adoptive, wasn't because he mentioned something about it and they didn't want me. So I don't know, maybe we'll learn more about that. That's kind of sad, you know. So he's got some issues that this is really helping. I think it's going to help heal his heart. I really do. So that was really cool that that they were able to do that. Team Red. So Alex was able to meet his father, remember, on day one.
Right.
And his father told him that he had a brother.
Right.
And then he got a phone call.
Yes.
From who, Shelley?
His brother.
Brother Mike.
What is
Mike, right.
Mike.
Wasn't that Michael?
It was Mike, right.
Mike,
Yeah. How cool is that? And apparently he'd had been in some kind of accident, so he couldn't get up there. But thank goodness.
And I believe, was it motorcycle or no?
They didn't really
said accident.
They didn't really say.
They didn't say, but they were both gearheads and both, you know, just talked about motorcycles and
Makes you
you
wonder.
know, just that instant bond, you know, they felt over common interests.
And they favored.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They favored, you know.
Yeah. So cool. And then we have Team Green, and again we get to see our first big family chart, one that's already pre-created, you know, for them. And so we don't know if it's family who did it this year, if it's Family Chart Masters or whoever. I forgot to look at the credits to see if they're on the credits or not. I'll have to look closer and see if that's who's doing their charts for them. So that was cool. And he had learned that he had known for a while that his family was German. And so they were able to confirm that and and then show them
who he met confirmed that, right?
And the first immigrant. And we're telling them all about this church where people were married, which comes into play in a minute. And you guys can talk about this church where they should go visit sometime, because that's where marriages were taking place and people were dying and being born all at this one church. So I thought, oh, that's so cool. They're getting all this information. And that comes into play in a minute. I just want to kind of get them all set up.
I'll make my comment when you come back.
Okay, just trying to get it all set up to leave for the next day. That was Scott and Hannah, Team Green. Team Black. Of course, they're at their third grade teacher's house.
Do they not remind you of the father-son back in season one?
They do.
You know
whatever season it was, but yeah, exactly. They do.
Yeah.
Jason and Jensen, they're so cute, and
they are.
You know, and as they're getting ready to go, she gives them lunch to take with them. So that was really cute.
Just like a teacher.
Yeah, it's just like a teacher. But guys, I don't know. was it just me, or were you relieved that they just weren't going around the corner to find the next round?
I really
That's
expected this, for it to be like, and Team Black has a drive time of 3 minutes.
Yes.
But that's what he's learning, is everybody he grew up with is basically, they're all related.
It's,
Mhm.
it's
They're
what
all-
it sound like, because they really didn't go far.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They had what was it, like an hour drive time.
And he knew who he met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
He knew.
Yeah. He knew. We'll talk
They
about that in a
saw
minute.
each other a
I
week
know.
ago or
I
something.
know. Before we get into the challenges and Mary's coming. Woohoo! Here comes our Mary. Come on in, Mary. We're just recapping. Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy has been able to join us. Yay, Mary! We're just recapping. We're recapping. And so I'm just getting ready to start talking about the picture challenge, because this is what's different. There's no selfies. I kind of miss them running over and tripping over each other and trying to get the selfie.
No, I like it this way.
But I like this photo
I like
competition.
it.
And their topic was churches. And you know, they kind of did churches, cemeteries, that kind of thing. But I thought that Team Red had it easy. They were in Richmond. Richmond's got the most beautiful churches and cemeteries. I thought they've got this nailed. But the minute I saw Team Blues, I was like,
That photograph,
That was
I
beautiful.
called it. I said, the
Gorgeous.
blue, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is so pretty.
gorgeous. And I love that kind
Beautiful.
of gives them 30 minutes just to kind of along the because they can do it anytime along the race during the day. They don't have to do it right when they start out. They can do it anytime they want. So
It will be interesting to see when they do it though, because like
Yeah.
Team Red, we're getting
Right
out
off
of
the
the
bat.
right now.
yeah,
And you might think that after, a couple hours of driving that maybe you'd want a little break.
yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
you think if and we, with it being a 5-minute reward, right? I was about to spoil something and I decided not to. With it being a 5-minute reward, that's a big deal, and it's something that I think you might want to take your time on, instead of just like, here's the first church that we've seen, let's just take a photograph of it. Like, shop around a little bit. You've got 30 minutes.
Yes.
Take your time.
Exactly.
Every town's got that corner where there's a couple of churches. Like, shop around a little bit.
Especially
See
in
what's
the
going
areas
on.
they're going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really did think that. I think that Team Red did that because of where they were, because Richmond. I mean, if you've been to Richmond and driven anywhere in Richmond, beautiful churches, beautiful cemeteries. And so I think that's probably why they decided to stop and just do it. And it wasn't very far from his dad's house.
But it
Right.
wasn't a church.
I know it wasn't.
It wasn't a church.
Really
I went through
was
that
not.
whole conversation, Mary, and I said, wait a minute, that's not a church. My brother said, but there's always a synagogue, a mausoleum next to it. No, it's not a church.
Maybe they told him they could do the broad sense, because what's church to some people is not church to another person.
Well,
So,
I think it was connected, of course, to a church. So I
Maybe.
got that point.
yeah, but it was
that
beautiful. They
wasn't the
all
vote.
did really nice photos, and I think it's because they gave him such nice tools and
Camera.
Yeah.
go well they gave him the camera, but they also gave them other things to go with it. They've got the tripods and they've got the filters and so they're all capable of being able to take some really, really good.
They're doing it all on the phone because Team Red, he's
Yeah.
editing and cropping and
Right.
everything right
Yeah.
on their
Yeah,
phone.
but remember, they got that backpack full of other stuff too that they can use, like the
Yeah.
tripods if they need a tripod or whatever.
Did
they
y'all notice that everything is really close to them? I don't think anybody drove over, 3 hours maybe?
Not so far, yeah.
So far, you know what I mean? There's no 3, 4, 5 hours. They're hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna
I'm
stay
just-
this way or if it'll be longer
Yeah.
as it goes. I was loving Team Green as they're talking about Team Blue.
Yes.
And I thought Dan probably really caught on with the Star Trek thing. That was hysterical that he says he's so glued in. The rest of us are doing these simple things. And then there Curtis is there with his, thinking a higher level above everybody else. And they're the team to watch. I thought that was so
The
cool.
camera work during that was just perfect, with him just driving and just staring and just like expressionless and Vulcan-like, just calculating. It was perfect.
That will be fun I wonder how they felt when they watched it Sunday night, because they don't
Right.
know these things are happening, these conversations. So Team Blue had no idea what Team Green was saying about him on day 2.
Right.
So I would love to hear their response. So, all right, Team Blue, I want you to tell us what you thought about what Team Green was saying about you. Oh, that would be so much fun to hear. Did you guys love that challenge? I thought it was so much fun.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
I
And of
thought it was
course-
hilarious.
And of course, you know what I tweeted? I tweeted one more for our relative race
Yeah.
family reunion. We can do that. That book, and of course, they
That
laugh.
will go in the
I'm
book.
like, you keep laughing at me, relative race, when I talk to you about the book, yet you never do it. What can we do to make you do it? They're probably wanting us to collect them, and we have to do it. I don't know. But Bernice, you want to talk to us about the challenge?
Oh, yes, the challenge. They had to jump on these rubber,
Floaties.
I don't know what you call these things.
Slides,
They're
water
inflatable.
slides,
Slide down.
water slides.
They had to get at least 500 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it was so much fun. They were dripping wet, but jumping on it brought back their childhood.
Oh, sure. But the thing is, if we remember from last week, Team Red got to give all the other teams
The penalty of
a
what,
penalty.
5
And what they
minutes.
did is they had to ride that silly peacock.
Right.
They all had to ride that silly peacock, at least.
Yeah.
I love Team Red's sort of reaction to the other teams being penalized. They're like, we don't think they should be penalized just because we're awesome. And then just
I love
left
them.
it at that. So there
And he
was
just left it, and that was it.
That was good. That was good. I think the fastest was the alligator and the pizza slides. I thought, what you got that, you could do it. But Team Red kept flying clear over. They didn't know there was.
Because you couldn't land on that one
just kept
space. You had to
going.
hit on the number.
Yeah.
Get in that
Right.
circle. That
Yeah.
was good. That was good.
That
But
was
I kept wondering, they're all soaking wet.
yes.
Now, how much time did they give them to change?
That's a good.
Jump back
Before
to
they
the
went
car?
to visit their relatives.
Right.
I hope they
yeah.
didn't
Right.
have to drive wet. That'd be terrible. They had to.
They
Yeah,
changed clothes.
they,
right
yeah, they
there.
were dry when they got to their relatives, and they didn't have that far to go.
Their hair was
Yeah.
even dry.
That was so fun. I'm glad the weather was good for all of them. Can you imagine if the
Mhm.
weather wasn't good? That wouldn't have been, and there would have.
Well, it wouldn't have made, they were wet anyway. I don't know,
Yeah.
a little rain probably.
Well,
Well,
I'm
if
just
it
saying
was
if it was
storming
cold
or-
or stormy, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
And one of them's in Florida, and we all know how that's going.
Yeah, not good.
Not good right now. I'm glad they weren't having that problem then. So
Right.
that was a lot of fun. And I didn't see anybody really, I was worried somebody was going to get hurt. There's always.
Yeah, I was
when
worried
somebody gets
that.
hurt, right?
Yeah.
So nobody twisted or broke anything or landed on their face or any of those kind of things that happen sometimes. So that was a good challenge. Like I said, one more for the relative race family reunion game book. So you hear it.
I wonder, how did they get the fire department to come out and assist them though?
Do the
Yeah.
spray.
That was very
Money. Mary says money.
They made a donation to the fire departments, I
I'm
guarantee it.
sure they did. But how fun.
Because
Fire-
they didn't even call out their name or anything
Yeah.
as far
They
as,
looked like they were
you
having
know.
fun though, when they were
Yeah.
spraying down. They looked like they were like, get them really good. Let's get them really wet. Make this thing really slippery. So, because I think we've all done the slip and slide before.
Yeah.
well,
But
Been
not
a
on a
long
peacock.
time since I've done a slip and slide. I probably
You're
kill
right.
myself
I
if
was
tried
gonna
to
say-
right now.
yeah.
I'd probably kill myself if I did it right now.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it now.
Let's start talking about the relatives. They found the relatives pretty well, except for poor Sean. he was in his hometown. I felt so bad because he wasn't looking at a map.
I thought for sure they were in last place.
Oh, and Curtis was not. He was holding it together, but he kept
He
saying,
was holding it together because he said, do you want to look at the map? I think the reason
and when
wanna-
Sean says, well, it depends if we're coming in this way or that way. I thought Curtis was gonna whoop, you know.
do you want to look at the map?
Yeah.
Right.
So I felt sorry for him. He says, but once I really realized where I was, we were all good and we got there fast. So I felt bad for
You
it.
know, I noticed, and I felt that Curtis was a very good listener.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
He was really into hearing what was being said about
Yes.
his feelings. Yeah.
Yes.
Very even keel, really
Oh
even
yeah.
temperament.
Oh yeah. He's
Yeah.
very, yeah.
I started saying,
Exactly.
I wonder if he's a therapist, you know?
Yeah, really. A perfect person to go someplace, especially like this, where there's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of stress, and you don't know the person sitting next to you in this car. You know.
Yeah. And
Perfect.
I'm not sure I got his full story.
I don't.
I don't know. I don't think it came out in episode 1
I don't think so.
and a
either.
little, okay. So it's not just,
No,
okay.
I don't think so either. But he was able to. It's so funny because they go up, and just because of
He's got the aunt. Yeah.
yeah, but it's so funny how they both look at each other and say, "This has got to be yours." This is
Yeah.
That was cute, just like last week. Can we assume,
Can we assume?
assume
So
that you're
cute.
my relative?
But it's
But
his.
did you guys love the photographs?
Oh my
of
gosh!
his
Well, it's his.
aunt?
Let's tell people. Let's remind people who he found. It was his paternal
Aunt.
aunt.
Yes, right.
Yeah, it's his
Yes,
paternal.
his
Yeah.
dad's sister.
Yes, and she's
And he knows his dad is now alive.
alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
And he has
those
probably
pictures.
lots of siblings.
and he's got lots of siblings. One that's he's the older brother of all these siblings.
He's the oldest, yes.
One that's only what was it? 3 days or 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks younger than
Yeah,
him, and his face was like,
Yes, yes.
and y'all all look alike. And that's when he goes, what? What do you mean by y'all all look alike? She's
And you have a lot of them too.
Yeah.
a lot of
The
them.
photograph is fabulous. So you know Auntie was holding stuff back
Oh,
yeah.
because of what's going to be coming. So that's exciting.
That's
you
gonna
know,
be
That's going to be
interesting.
exciting.
That's,
I
yeah.
hope he gets to see his twin, which is his
It's
dad.
I bet that was just
Yeah.
amazing. You know, if he was out trying to figure this out by himself and maybe didn't have the DNA connection, but was just starting to do the paper trail and found that picture, there'd be no
Yeah.
doubt in his mind or anybody else's
Yeah.
that was his biological father.
Right.
It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Right, but his aunt was very comforting to him because she said, you know, my mother offered to take you,
Yeah.
but it was his mother who wanted him to be adopted.
Yes.
Mhm.
So basically that's what story, that's what added to the
that's the story.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the story. And so will we get to that point where we understand
tuned.
why? Stay tuned.
Stay
And maybe
tuned.
people, if they find his biological mom, maybe she can shed some light on why she didn't want him adopted. Well, maybe because she knew that there was other, I don't know. Maybe she knew there were more children and just thought, nah, maybe we should just get him out of this situation.
Well, she probably did not know that
Yeah.
there was another baby arriving within the
There
month.
could be
Within
so
the-
many reasons.
Yeah. Oh, I
There
know.
could
There
be
could be
so many reasons.
so many reasons. Yeah.
And whatever it is, we had a child that got adopted
Yeah.
and now he's
Had a good life.
reconnecting.
That's right. And now
Yeah.
they're connecting. Team Red. Oh my gosh. Jamie on
Hudson.
Team Red. Yeah. Because remember on day 1, we learned that they were left, he and his siblings were left in a subway station. They got picked up
All
by
of them.
foster care,
Mhm.
taken into foster care. And so he remembered some things because what was he, 6, 7 years old? So he
Right.
he
mhm.
could remember some things. And of course, we knew the minute, you saw who the relative was, you knew which one.
We could assume which one that was.
Yeah, we could figure that one out pretty quick, but that was
Yeah.
his cousin. And the cousin, and he
And
goes,
they were best
and
friends.
he said, I remember you. And I just,
Mhm.
oh, that just got to me. I remember you. And then, you know, of course, his cousin says, and what's his name is Justin, right? He said,
Yes,
Justin.
yes.
we never forgot about you. You know, you just weren't here with us, but we never forgot about you.
Mhm.
And he also was able to tell him that his siblings did not grow up in the system.
Correct.
So I'm hoping that he gets to reconnect with the
Yeah,
siblings.
but the whole family got adopted.
So that
They
might
all-
be what happened, but yeah, but he was afraid that they ended up stayed in the system.
Oh, you're talking about the cousin. Okay.
No, he was talking about
Oh.
his siblings. I think he was talking about his siblings. He was
I
worried
think
that
he was
all,
talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
he was worried that they all had been in the system. And so his cousin was able to say, no, they didn't grow up in the, and so that was comforting. And you could just
Yeah.
see the relief on his face. I mean, it was so tender, you know, they're reuniting, their reconnection. And then Alex was he was so touched. He says, I've never been touched so much by a story.
Yeah.
He says, I'm lucky in the way that I grew up. You know, I'm wanting to know my biological family, but I'm lucky in the way I grew up. And then y'all had it so bad, you know. So I'm just hoping he reconnects with everybody. I'm just hoping that I'm just hoping that happens. I think that was a very special to connect. It was one thing to connect, but one thing to connect to somebody that you remember from your childhood, you know, and not in the way that Team Black is reconnecting with people from their childhood. I mean, people
Like, I know you.
their story. I mean, it's
Because what did he say? Something about you were just in the store last week or
last
something
week,
like
yeah.
that?
Last week. Mhm.
Yeah. And,
so they go up
and-
to the door and they meet an aunt, the father's aunt, and then she says, hang on, I've got somebody else for you to come on inside. So he goes inside and it's his granny. But the thing is, he knows them both just from in town because he grew up there. They come in his
well,
store.
remember
Come in
the
the
son said, I went to school with the Fouchés. I think
Oh,
it's
that was
pronounced
last week. So this is
Yeah,
gonna
yeah. And he said, I went to school with them.
the
and
whole
he just
town.
said,
The
yes, they're
whole
all related.
town knows whose son
Yeah,
he is, but
except
nobody
he didn't
wanted to
know.
say anything because they didn't have any proof. They all just suspected it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how interesting. I hope we can get them to come on the show as we go, through this.
So my question for Team Black is, and maybe you guys caught it and I didn't, did they stay with their third grade teacher? Or did they just stay in their own house? Like, did they just go back home? Because I mean, it can't be far.
Yeah.
They're all within an hour.
Exactly.
Grandma was almost an hour away.
Yeah, but he said, so I don't know which
it's
town
rural.
they live in. I don't know which town they live in, but that's a very good
I
point.
mean, I can't
Just go
imagine there's
home.
like a tremendous amount of hotels, But like,
It's a rural
It'd be-
area.
I think it would be weird if I was staying at my third grade teacher's house. Like, that'd be weird.
But it's his
They may have
cousin.
because she did fix them lunch.
That's right. They must have.
Yeah.
She made them lunch.
How
I mean,
sweet of her.
Maybe my
That was
cousin,
so
but like,
sweet.
she's been my cousin for like a couple of hours. She's been my third grade teacher since third grade. Like
Yeah,
that,
but
like,
everybody in the town suspected and knew, but nobody said anything to him. Because remember, Grandma said, I knew you were mine.
Fine.
Yeah.
She said, I knew you
ahead,
were
Mary.
mine.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, in order to be fair, I mean, part of this is you don't get to sleep in your own bed. So you're
Oh,
probably not
right,
going to
yeah.
sleep as well.
Right,
So I would
yeah.
think out of a fairness thing, they probably couldn't go home.
They probably, you're probably right, but I think Dan's just saying this is so weird to be in your.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
darn
remember
strange.
them saying that's just where we flew from?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Driving
exactly.
back.
I don't
I think
know
it's
how-
unique for this season, though.
Yeah, it's very unique. That's probably why they were chosen to be on the show, because everybody else is meeting brand new people and they're meeting people they've grown up with. Mary.
Well, everyone else is
Okay.
meeting brand new people. They're meeting people in a brand new
Now
way.
as
There you
family.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that, Dan. Mary?
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking, you know, I mean, in the early seasons, the relationships were so much farther away. And if you think
Yes.
of where
Yes.
your distant relatives live, they live all over. But I mean,
Mhm.
most of my first cousins lived, you know, grew up within 50 miles of
Mhm.
where I grew
Yeah.
up. So if
Mhm.
that's what you're meaning,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably going to be close to home.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But just not the
Well,
people
Granny
who were
was
down
the
the street
hour
that you
away.
didn't know. That you didn't know. You came in my store and you were my granny. That's just got to just be so weird. And not she came in the
You
store
know what?
twice all the time. They had a relationship as friends. which
Yeah.
is-
I
yeah.
bet he knows his daddy and didn't even know that was his daddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right or no?
Maybe we'll see, right?
But you
Well, I
know
mean,
what
what
I'm
did they say
saying?
when they
It
went to
very-
Hot Springs? When they
Yeah.
went to Hot Springs, he was like, "No, there's 3,500 people in the town, and we know 3,460." So
That's
So there's-
that's my point.
Yeah.
This is gonna be exciting though.
This is gonna be fun.
Because
Yeah.
it keeps pointing you in different directions and we don't know which way it's gonna go. So kudos to the relative race team on these selections.
I've
know.
heard some people on social media are saying, well, we think it's just so sad a whole town would know all this and nobody would let them know. But I mean, that's just small town.
yeah,
It's just the way
But
it is.
usually small towns run their mouths. Everybody
Well,
knows. Come on
Apparently
now.
this small town didn't run their mouth. They ran their mouths with each other, but they,
Right.
it didn't get back to them, which
So
is
you got one kid that grew up with all his family around him and nobody said you were my family.
I know, it's so weird. I just think that is just so I think
We'll get more.
yeah, we'll get more. We'll absolutely get more. Let's see. We did what? Oh, have we done Team Green?
No, the one that
No.
looked just like him. Boy,
Yeah, go ahead,
there's
Mary.
no escaping.
That's
when-
another one that looked just like it, right?
Mhm.
And their directive was to go to a church. I mean, their
right.
address was a church. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what are we doing at a church? We just took a picture of a church. And then the relative walked out of the church and he was pastor there.
Yeah.
Looking
and it
just
was-
like him.
Looking
Yeah, yeah.
That was his brother, right?
his
Right,
big
that
brother.
was his brother, yeah.
I don't remember who was older.
The pastor was the big brother.
Older.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
And then to see the pictures of the pastor had pictures of dad.
Yes.
And I mean, you
Blow
know, just
your
like, you know,
mind.
from here on
The
out, it
daughter
was just
pointed
like
that out too.
Right.
identical.
Talking about this.
Yeah.
But
And
it
they
was
were s- they were
interesting
so-
that
oh, go
the
ahead.
brother mentioned that, yes, the father was alive. but
Yes.
he did not want to meet him on
Yes, he
television.
didn't want to do it on TV. And you
Yes.
can respect
And
that.
that's happened before throughout the season.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
It's kind of nice that we know and don't.
yeah. Yep.
But
Yeah.
it was good. It was good. I can't wait
yeah.
till next week.
Well, they did.
It's the anticipation and all the guessing.
right.
You
They
know,
did say
and
that
stuff.
his mom and dad, well, the pastor's mom and dad got married when they were 15.
Yes.
And it didn't
Small
last
town.
very long. Yeah, it didn't last very long. So those are the picture he was showing was himself with his parents. And
Right.
Mhm.
so this then we've got the half brother situation. So it's a different mom. So yeah, but still, I mean, just that picture, it was just, and I think I'll throw pictures up of my family or something and people say, oh, you look just like your dad or whatever. And I think sometimes when we grow up with them, we don't see it as much.
Mhm.
But I guess when you have never seen the picture and then you suddenly see the picture, that has to jump out at you because you've never had that connection. You've never had somebody said something, I'm seeing something and somebody else I only see when I've looked in the mirror. And so, those pictures
It's
are just,
interesting you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that because as I age, I'm starting to look more like my father.
Mm,
Where younger, I look like, my mother's side, the family. But
mhm.
age, I have more rounder face, which that's, you know what I mean?
I
More
know
of the,
what you're saying.
say the Murphy side now.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is what the whole body, everything is all Murphy now.
Yeah.
You know, just like the cousins and seriously. And,
Yeah.
and it's like,
It's interesting.
wait a
Yeah.
minute. And
That
I
is
can see
interesting.
it now. Yeah.
See,
I
that's
see
what
it.
that's what I'm trying to say is you really always seen and felt like you fit in because you looked like other people in your family.
Somebody. Yeah.
Somebody. And so
somebody.
when you see, it's got to be such a shock to see these pictures or just to meet somebody who looks so much like you.
For
It's
the
got
first
to just
time.
be shocking.
For the first
It's gotta
time.
be shocking. So
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's, I don't know if seeing someone that looks like you is shocking, because I think we've all experienced that where we see someone that looks like us, but most of us don't have that wonder of, is that person then related to me?
right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And that
That's true.
wondrous part, I think, is
Yes.
is sort of the strange bit, because
Yeah.
I see people that look like me, and heaven help them, but like, and I'm like, oh, they're probably not related to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you know, for a lot of the contestants on the show, that's probably not been the case historically, and then all of a sudden they see a picture of someone
Right.
who looks like them, and all of a sudden the
Yeah.
curtains pulled back, you see
Exactly.
the wonderful wizard, and you're just
Overwhelming,
like, that's
too.
it.
Yeah.
This is them, you know.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Right. Yeah. No doubt about it. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. So we've got 4 great teams again. I don't know how they do it. And when we first heard that, you know, Team Red and Team Blue didn't even know each other till 2 weeks, I thought, I wonder how this is
Right.
going to work. It's going to
Right.
work great, I think. They're both really supportive of each other. So far, so
We'll
good.
see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Well, and again, it depends on it because we just saw one indication on blue team when he wouldn't look at that.
The map.
Yeah.
But we did
Curtis
see,
lost his
I would have
Vulcan
probably
cool.
pulled over and said, "Get the darn map."
but I really see some strong connection in Team Red. Really seeing some close.
Oh, those
connection.
two are jiving very well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they each now, I mean, in the first 2
Mhm.
episodes
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
have met a family
Yes.
member.
So it balanced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
hope it stays balanced, but it can only go so far depending on results, which leads us into results. So, you know, this is going to be such an interesting season because of that photo, the photo
That
contest.
5 minutes makes a
That
difference
makes-
at the end.
And because their times are always so close. So close. So I'm trying to find I know who came in, but Team Black came in 4 minutes under time. Well, I wonder if it's because they really knew where they were going and they knew.
I
You
was
know?
shocked. I thought they were getting their strike.
Oh,
I
did you?
did.
Did you
I
really?
did. I
4
did.
minutes.
Because they kept showing them in the car.
Oh,
He
yeah, they're
asked him
tricky.
to
That's
re-
that. Yeah, it's that
Stop.
editing. Yeah,
I know.
they want you to think that. So Team Black came in 4 minutes over. I mean, 4
Yeah.
minutes under. And next was Team Blue. Then we had Green, and then
Green.
we had Red. So I was really glad that Green didn't get a second strike. But then they always do the photo thing, right? And so they have to show us who wins. Does anybody want to? Dan.
So Team Blue was in second place. They won the photo contest, which took 5 minutes off of their time. They were
Yep.
2 minutes behind Team Black. Now they were 3 minutes ahead of Team Black, and they get everyone else gets penalized with them,
Yes. Yep.
and that's
Well, and it shifted.
Yep.
right. Yeah, they moved from second to first. I'm glad it didn't affect the bottom of it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
where it would have caused like Team Green to get a second strike, but
Yes.
Right.
but
Yes.
that's why I think, you know, maybe just cranking it out at the beginning may not be the best strategy with the photos. It may be taking some time. You've
Yeah.
got 30 minutes, scout out a couple of locations, you know, find something. You know, sometimes, you know, Providence smiles down on you and you'll find just the beautiful
Yeah.
picture right away. But otherwise, I mean,
Take your time. Yeah.
take your time,
So-
try to get it right to get those
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So-
Exactly.
All right, challenge here. Well, no, because every week they have a theme that they're supposed to photograph. So
Mhm.
we had the scenic part, you know, the rock and all of that. This one was churches. What do y'all think next week is?
I don't know. I guess it's gonna depend on where they're going and
Yeah, I would bet though that there's gonna be a cemetery challenge just because
Has
it's
to
a
be.
genealogy
Has to be a-
TV show.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna go cemetery just because of the theme of the church. And
Yeah.
of course, as far as the one team going to the church where his brother was at, I thought that was just a big coincidence.
Yeah.
But they did go in the cemetery, talked about the
That's right.
German
We forgot.
ancestors.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about that. They did. That's
Yeah.
where they went. That's where they went to
Yeah.
take their picture. And we're able to see the immigrant, their German immigrant, which I
Yeah.
thought was really cool. I really
Yeah,
like
that was nice. But I thought they would lose time too, because at that point it was almost like they didn't care. They're
Well,
going to the cemetery.
They want to listen. They had the historian there that was telling them all the family stories. So
Yeah,
I'm wondering if
exactly.
they have
Wasn't
somebody.
that interesting? Do you think that was staged? I mean, how did that historian just happen to be?
Oh no, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't just happen to be there. He
Nah,
just didn't happen to be there. They
I
had-
agree, Dan. That's another one too.
I did
And
think
weather,
that.
I think that
There'll
there'll be
be
a
food
weather
photo. Yeah,
one.
probably food.
Weather,
probably-
food.
Yeah,
Weather?
Yeah, like,
that would be
yeah,
good.
I mean, take pretty clouds
yeah,
or
or whatever.
the
you know,
mist
you
or
see a
something.
rainbow or
What
you know,
about
something.
houses?
Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah. Historic
and
house.
animals maybe.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
animals may be a nice one too.
yeah.
But I think when we look back, season 9, I mean, episode 9, we will see there's got to be some ring to this.
we'll see it.
You
Yeah,
know, yeah,
we'll
because
see
this
the-
is
the
all
reason
planned.
for it, the reason why they chose each thing.
Yeah,
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 very
yeah. And
cool.
it's something that will hopefully connect to each of them. Not necessarily the first week, but we started with the church, the cemetery, food, you know.
And I'm wondering if all of this is building up to day 10 too. 'cause
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of times they start and we don't catch on, and then finally we're going, wait a second, you know?
That's what I'm thinking. We got
Yeah.
some theme that's growing here.
Well,
So
but it
Dan
was-
should call and tell us. Other
It
Dan,
was the beauty of America. I mean, Dan
It
said that in
is.
the first
Oh,
thing.
yeah. So I'm wondering,
yeah.
that's what I'm wondering if that's then going to lead into day 10, you know?
yeah, and that will be nice.
Yeah, maybe they'll head to
Gotta
Yellowstone.
have a nice
do
ring.
some-
National
Do
Park.
some, or some other national park and do some stuff in a national park. That would be really cool if they did something like that. Yeah.
Well,
So-
they're here. They were in Richmond, the big park. Well, Shenandoah, the big
yeah, any of that would be so beautiful.
yeah.
To end
bu-
up.
the
Because they
Blue
can
Ridge
end up
Park.
day 10 in anywhere. They just
Yeah.
fly in
Right,
there.
yeah, and it's
So-
not like there's any shortage of national parks in Utah that they could
Oh,
That's true.
definitely have a little bit more, filming on home turf for BYU TV. So.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. So this was another great episode leading us into wanting us to know more about each of them and who else they're going to find. And it's going to be another great season. All the teams are just so, I'm just like, oh, all of y'all stay, just like I always do.
Are they
Stay.
on Facebook? Do you
And then
know
come, and then come
anybody?
talk to us, I always say, come talk to us weeks away from now. We don't want to, because we always have them come on after,
Right.
Evenly
fortunately-
distribute those strikes. Like
wanna-
everybody gets
yes.
one, then we all go back around again, and then
That's
we all
right.
go- yeah.
That's right. Exactly. And then come on the show afterwards and talk to us about your experience. So that's what we
Well, the
love.
first team that has to leave, they need to come on.
Oh, they will. We'll invite them. We always do. We always do. And it's always so much fun. So thank you everybody for coming and joining me tonight about talking about day 2 of Thrill of the Race season 10. It's just amazing that we're on season 10. And again, we want to, our hearts go out to Dan and Dan Debenham. I know some people thought we were talking about our Dan here. Not our
me.
Dan here.
Nope.
Dan Debenham, and our prayers are with him, and we are going to support him throughout the season and with wearing our
Got
ribbon
your
for our
baby
light
blue
blue
on.
and our baby blue on, and support him during the season. So shout out to Dan and tell him we love him and we're praying for him. And with that, we will see you next week and talk about day 3. I hope we get some really fun connections. I know we will. And I wonder how far Team Black will have to go.
Around
the
the
way
corner.
across the
on
street.
East side of town.
Around the corner anyway.
With a
It's
travel
wonderful-
time of 45 seconds.
We love that story though. We love that story.
Oh,
So
yeah.
thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you next time on GenFriends. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.